raise your hand if this is your first time seeing our butterfly release. Okay, and raise your hand if you've never been to our butterfly release before. It's a lot of the same people. Interesting. Very interesting. Hello, hello. Gather around. You're welcome to grab a seat on the floor if you want to, on these ledges, on the benches, wherever you feel like you can get a good vantage point. As long as everyone else can see, you're good. All right, it's 2 o'clock. It's time for us to get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first flight butterfly release. My name is Jeff. I'm one of the people that facilitates programs here at the museum. And I'm super stoked to have you all here today. You are here for a very special occasion. Right? We call this our first flight butterfly release because you are about to see something that no one has ever seen before. And that is these butterflies flying for the first time in their lives. Yeah, that's cool. Up until 24 hours ago, these guys didn't even have functioning wings. And now, we're ready to release them out here into our butterfly haven so they can join the 1,000 other butterflies that we have flying around in here. Are you ready to see them fly?
Yes.
Well, before we do, I want to talk a little bit about how they got here, right? Because these butterflies have been on a journey and they have lived a life just to be here with us today. Who can raise their hand and tell me what butterflies start their lives as? Right? Adults are welcome to participate. But you don't know. Interesting. What do you think? Caterpillars! Yes! And you doubted yourself. No, absolutely. Butterflies start off their lives as caterpillars. Caterpillars are little worm-like things. They crawl around. And caterpillars have 2 jobs. To eat and to grow. And in order to grow, they have to eat. So really it's all just one big job. Right? Who knows what caterpillars like to eat? Any ideas? You have any idea what caterpillars might like to eat? Yeah? What? Leaves! Yes! Caterpillars love to eat leaves, but caterpillars are really picky eaters. They won't just eat any leaf. A lot of caterpillars have one very specific type of leaf that they like to eat, and that one specific type of leaf is different for different caterpillars. And because the caterpillars are super picky eaters, the mama butterflies will only lay their eggs on the kind of plant that their babies would want to eat. Who can imagine why butterflies would want to do that? Well, would you want your kids to starve? No, neither would the butterflies. So they're going to lay their eggs right on that leaf. That way, as soon as the eggs hatch, breakfast is served. Right? Those caterpillars don't have to go anywhere in order to find some food. And we call those plants the butterfly's host plant. Can everyone say host plant? Yeah. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of a host plant before. None of you. Interesting. That's great. You're here learning all kinds of new things today. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of milkweed. Do you know why milkweed is important?
Butterflies like to eat it.
Yeah, a very specific butterfly eats it, the monarch butterfly. Their caterpillars will only eat milkweed leaves, so for monarch butterflies, milkweed is their host plant. They will only lay their eggs on milkweed so that their babies don't starve. So if there's no milkweed, no monarch butterfly caterpillars, no monarch butterflies. That's why it's a really important plant. But different butterflies will use different things as their host plants. Now, knowing that, I want you to take a look around and raise your hand if you see any caterpillars in here. All right, I'm seeing shaking heads, seeing people not even looking around, but that's okay. You're right, we don't have any caterpillars in here. All right, so what does that mean about the plants that we have in here? Yeah, you're there. Yeah, they're not host plants. None of the plants that we have in here are host plants for these butterflies. Can anyone imagine why we wouldn't want these butterflies laying eggs and having caterpillar babies all up in here? They'll eat all the leaves. Yeah. What did I say a caterpillar's job is? To eat. Yeah, so if we had a bunch of caterpillars crawling around here, they'd eat everything up before we could replenish it. So, we don't get these butterflies here as caterpillars. We get them a little bit later in their lives. Does anyone know what the next stage of that butterfly's life is called after they're a caterpillar? A chrysalis. Yes. Okay, so a frequent flyer. That's great, that's great. Yeah, so as those caterpillars are eating and growing, they actually have to shed off their outer layer in order to grow. We call that their exoskeleton. Can everyone say exoskeleton?
Exoskeleton.
Yeah, that means an outside skeleton. Just like you have the skeleton inside your body, that's where your bones are. Bugs wear their skeleton on the outside, kind of like how Superman wears his underpants. All right? But because that gives them their shape, if they want to grow, they have to shed that off. So they eat and shed and grow, and then eat and shed and grow, and eat and shed and grow, until one day they shed one final time, and what's left underneath isn't squishy caterpillar body anymore. It's something harder, something that barely moves, something that doesn't need to eat for a long time. It's their chrysalis, right? And because that chrysalis doesn't need to move very much, and it doesn't need to eat, that's the perfect time for it to be packed up and shipped to a nature museum. So every week we get 2 to 3 shipments of chrysalids. You may be wondering where we get those things from, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, well I'm going to tell you. Take a second, close your eyes, and take in this room. What does it feel like? The temperature, the humidity, the brightness, all of that. Open your eyes. How would you describe it?
Rainforest.
Kind of tropical, like a rainforest. So where do you think these butterflies are from?
South America,
Tropical environments, yes. We get our butterflies from South America, Africa, Asia, Australia. They come from all of those tropical environments. So, they get packed up and shipped here, and then the chrysalids hang out in the lab. It's just outside those exit doors. You can actually see them on your way out. And we wait for them to hatch, and one day, these butterflies emerge. They have to dry off their wings, and then they're able to fly. And that's what all of these butterflies did in the last 24 hours. And now, they're ready to fly. Are you ready to see them fly? All right, you're getting impatient. But before we do, there are 2 things that you need to know. Number 1, we have one very important rule here in the Butterfly Haven. And that is please do not touch the butterflies. If a butterfly lands on you, you're fine. They chose you. They are living, breathing things with their own free will. Enjoy it. Just don't go poking them, right? Because they're very tiny, you're very big, and you could accidentally hurt them, all right? So also, if you just grew wings in the last 24 hours, how good at flying do you think you'd be? Not very good. So I may open up this crate, the butterflies may go up and right down, all right? So we call this area right here the butterfly landing pad. Yeah, she would have just stepped on a bunch of butterflies if I had opened this crate. So wash your feet. All right, so now, are you ready to see the butterflies fly?
Yeah.
Then we're going to count down from 5. Let me finish the countdown. I'm going to open up this crate and we're going to encourage the butterflies to fly by going wee. Can everyone do that? Wee. Not yet.
No.
After we finish the countdown, come on. Get with it. All right, count down with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wee. There we go. All right. So, like I said, these butterflies are just getting used to their wings. Some of them aren't super confident flyers yet, so I'm going to help them out. I told you not to touch the butterflies. You will see me touching the butterflies. In order to do that safely, I had to go through an hour-long training. I am USDA certified at butterfly touching. All right, so that's why you'll see me doing it. I cannot put them on you, but if they want to stick around and hang out with me, I will take them around so you can get a little bit of a closer look, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about any of these majestic little bugs that we have flying around in here, because we have a bunch today, and it's very exciting. There we go. See, sometimes they just need a little bit of encouragement. If they land on you and you don't want them there, all you have to do is give a little shake, and they'll fly away. All right, you don't have to brush them off, that might hurt them, so just give that little shake. Look at these big guys. That guy's called a giant owl butterfly. Can you imagine why?
The owl eyes.
The owl eye on the side, yeah. Why do you think it has that? Yeah, to scare off predators. Because if a bird wants to eat this, and they're looking around in a tree, and they see that big eye staring at them, they think it's a bigger bird that's going to eat them. So it's a really good defensive tactic. So I told you that caterpillars eat leaves. If you look closely at one of these butterflies, do you see a mouth on them? Do they have teeth? Can they smile at you? They can't. Butterflies don't have chompy mouths like they do as babies. They have a little silly straw that they use for a mouth. It's called a proboscis. And it goes down into the flower and it drinks up the nectar. So they really like drinking juices. That's why you'll see a lot of fruit around here. And all of the flowers in here have kind of a tube shape to them. And it's because it's good for the butterflies to be able to stick their proboscis down. Yeah, you can get a good close look though. I'm going to bring these friends to some flowers or a nectar pad so they can start